Hello everyone, and welcome to Live at the Waterhole. We are starting off with a beautiful day here at Jamala in Madikwe Game Reserve within South Africa. My name is Amy, and I'm with you for the first half of the show today. Now, it has been a little bit quiet this morning, but we are glad to have spotted these few Ellies resting in the shade of a tree here just next to the waterhole. So we will see what happens today. No idea what to expect. Hopefully we have some nice variety from mammals to reptiles as well as birds. It's always some of the best shows that I enjoy the most. It's when we get to see a few different types of things, including some of the smaller things. But this is a live and interactive show, so please do make sure that you send through your comments and questions. Let me know what you're hoping to see today, who you are, where you're watching from. Always love to hear from everybody. And we also get to chat about some interesting topics along the way as well. All right, well, it does look like it is a lovely day here at Jamala, like I mentioned earlier, but let's see what's happening with the weather across our locations. Well, it's going to be heating up here to just under 30 degrees today around Madikwe, so it's probably not quite at that temperature just yet. So I'm hopeful with warm temperatures all around for the most part. We'll be getting some more animals coming down later this afternoon. These three ellies here look like three elephant bulls that are taking a moment to just rest. I don't see any little ones here in between, and elephants will sometimes do this. We actually see it happening quite a bit around Jamala. Oh, Sarah, me too. You say hi, Amy. Hoping to see some baby ellies this morning. That would be fantastic, wouldn't it? As cheaters would say, elephantastic, wouldn't it? Oh, Fuller, wonderful, absolutely awesome. You say good morning. Today is your day off, and you get to watch WildEarth all day. Well, lucky you. Thanks for choosing us to spend your off day with. We feel quite honored. I do hope that you enjoy all of our content today, from the sunrise safari this morning through to the waterhole show and then the sunset safari, which will be after this show at 4 p.m. Central African time. Martha, hello. You are watching all the way from Cullinan. A very warm welcome to you. Thank you for letting me know, and I do hope that you enjoy the show today. Eileen, you are watching from a freezing cold Massachusetts, USA. Well, I'm sending the warm vibes that I can. It is full on African summer on this side of the hemisphere, or on the side of the earth in the southern hemisphere, down in South Africa. So I must say, between freezing cold and very hot, I think I do prefer the sunshine, but I might be slightly biased. There's also a bird hopping about above these elephants in this. I think it's a leadwood tree. Could be the grey go away birds, but I'm not exactly sure. Quite a long dark tail there. It could also be the Birchall starlings. We do see them around as well. Catherine, you say hello from a freezing cold Germany. It's minus 14 degrees. Oh my goodness. I can't even imagine what that must be like. I do hope that you stay indoors and keep nice and cozy.
2024 is here, and it's sure to be our best year yet. Come along and join us on the 21st of January for a company update town hall that's open to all registered viewers. We will update our viewers on where we are, discuss what's to come in the new year, and answer any questions. Watch it live on the WildEarth app. WildEarth, connecting with nature.
Well, everyone, we had a brief view of a big buffalo bull, but we watched him and then he just wandered off. So, slightly disappointed that he left. So some of you couldn't catch him, but he wasn't wallowing or anything like that. He had just come down, had a bit of a scratch, maybe a drink on one of the rubbing posts there. Well, he drank at the waterhole and then had a rub on the rubbing post and then headed off and has now disappeared. And just shows how in just a few minutes things can happen. And often sometimes you can't actually believe, for example, let's say a cheetah walked past here. It would only maybe be visible for 30 seconds to a minute, but it's still the most amazing thing. And it's just it blows my mind every time how sometimes such short sightings can actually be sometimes the most special. Also, just to mention to anyone who may not be aware, if we do hear any talking in the background, or sometimes we hear a little bit of clinging and clanging, it is some from the lodge that overlooks this waterhole, and we do sometimes pick that up on our ambient mic just to explain. I do also see some movement in the background there. Some, I think it's zebras that hopefully, fingers crossed, will come down. Dibby Donut. Ooh, great name. You say, hi, Amy. Watching WildEarth is the perfect way to start the day from a freezing UK. Well, it sounds like Europe as well as the US is having, well, parts of the US is having some very cold weather. I suppose it is winter over there after all. But I'm so glad that through WildEarth we get to connect you with nature here in South Africa. It does look like these zebras are on their way, everyone. Very cautiously approaching, checking it out. I think there's a little baby there as well, which will be very cute. Not a baby Ellie, but a baby zebra. do love a scene of zebras drinking at a waterhole, any waterhole, but at Jamala, there's just something about all the different colors that really do make such beautiful photographs or pictures with the reflection as well. And there's that little zebra that I was talking about, the baby. You can see how, even though we can't spot any clear signs of danger, it's just instinctual for these animals to be cautious. Coming down to the water is a risk for them. They put themselves out in the open, and their concentration is then focused on the drinking. Their heads are down, they can't see behind them. And it is often a perfect opportunity for a predator to attack. So they do have to be extra cautious. And for the most part, I'd say 99% of their trips to the waterhole are completely uneventful. I'm also just wondering if this is a foam nest, tree frog nest. A foam nest, tree frog's nest here on this sort of big grey boulder in the middle of the waterhole. It could just be something to do with the sunlight reflecting there, but it does look like sort of a white blob. And I see that the eddies are down to 2, so their friend decided to move off. I don't know, maybe they're heading here towards the drinking spot where these eddies like to drink. Finished resting. I'll just have to see. They may also come and feed. They do like to come and feed up near the fence. So maybe they're moving across there before heading for some water.
Are you a wildlife fanatic, glued to YouTube for your daily dose of animal antics? Then, welcome to Africam's wildlife community. By joining our YouTube memberships, you get no ads, just wild live streams, chat with other bush fans, get early access to exciting camera spots, and flex your wildlife knowledge with fun quizzes. Visit Africam's YouTube channel and click the join button now.
Well, the three have now moved from the tree to the waterhole, everyone. And we have three actually quite different bulls, which is, I think, lovely for you all at home to see the difference between elephant bulls when we talk about aging and size and that sort of stuff. Because when you are up close to a male elephant that is matured, it is huge. But there are some males that are bigger than others, and that obviously comes with time. So an elephant sort of over 20 years old is very large and can feel almost as if you don't have any comparison, that sort of how big you think the elephant can get. But here we've got an elephant on the left, standing here. It's got a kink in its tail, actually, that is a little bit smaller than the other two, I think, even though he is very big. The one that's actually moved off now to the right, I'm not sure if he's going to do some mud splashing or start feeding, but he's massive and his tusks are very thick, quite well worn. His head is a little bit larger, a little bit more filled out. And so it's nice to be able to compare. It's impossible to know the exact ages, but just by those signs, you can see some are more mature than others. You can also see he's got quite a big hole out of his ear, on his right ear. There was actually some zebras calling in the background there. You can also hear a few red-faced mouse birds. There actually has been quite a few birds around, flying and landing. So these three, I would definitely think of them as a bachelor herd. It's something that we can see that they're quite comfortable with one another. They may actually be pretty much permanently together, although it's not to say that that's always the case with male elephants. They are free to roam as they wish, but sometimes we do tend to find smaller groups, like for example these three, um, that hang out together consistently. And this may very well be the case. And with them all being quite mature, well over 20, some over 30 here, um, I think they would have been together for quite a while if this was the case. So definitely part of their natural sort of inclination as elephants is to be social, is to associate with other elephants. And so the life of a bull elephant can be one of aloneness. But occasionally, quite often actually, more than just occasionally, these bulls do tend to hang out together. Batiste, hello, so nice to hear from you. You say that the Ellie's ears were flapping at the same beat of the sound of the bird, so it made it sound like they were squeaking. Imagine a squeaky hinge on the ears. Ah, I do see a few more zebras making an appearance, everyone. I think what I found so relaxing about watching big Eddie bulls like this is how relaxed they are. Really, no rush in the world for them. Oh, there is a fourth arriving. Interesting to see the interaction here, if any.
When we started our donation drive on the 28th of December, we'd hoped to raise $15,000 for critically needed technical equipment. Your generosity has seen us raise more than $50,000 from 400 amazing supporters. Needless to say, we're overwhelmed and massively grateful. Two incredible viewers, GC and Bramble1, donated $5,000 and $15,000 respectively. Our profound thanks to each and every one of you.
Well, we now have one elephant bull, not one of the three that we saw him approach. You can also see he's a completely different color than the other three, so not one of those bachelor herd members. Those three are now heading off together, and he's obviously been in a different area. Got some brownish dirt on his back coloring him, whereas the others were more grey. So obviously in different areas of the reserve with different soil colors. Now, we didn't hear any communication between them, but I definitely think there might have been some communication below our hearing range there, because they were sort of eyeing each other out, but the others left and he came to drink here. This bull does seem a little bit smaller to some extent, and not in height, but in terms of skull and facial features, they do seem a little bit slimmer. He's still got some filling out to do. Oh, I love it when an elephant does that. And some lovely tusks, but they are quite skinny. Another sign that he isn't too old yet. Sarah, yes, absolutely. These elephants are having a very lazy Saturday. They're moving off very slowly. Absolutely. And this elephant also is going to take his time here. And like I mentioned, these elephants really have nowhere they have to be. They have no pressing schedule. And that's part of why I think I love spending time in the bush and even watching a show like this is that everything is doing its thing in its own time. Ah, some more zebras. Wonderful. Oh, not just some, actually, quite a few. I think we might get a bit of splashing by this elephant now, which will be wonderful. It's amazing how we can pick up these incredible sounds, everyone. Now this elephant could fit in with those other three quite easily. Just based on the color change. Picasso, hello to you. Thank you so much for joining us once again. As always, you have asked a great question. You want to know if eddies have a navel or where the umbilical cord has snapped. So, yes, actually, all mammals that we would find in Africa would definitely have what we would consider a belly button because they are mammals and have been born from a placenta, and that placenta is connected with an umbilical cord. And when these mammals have their calves and they drop out, that actually snaps the umbilical cord, which is attached sometimes, especially we actually see it quite often on baby wildebeest and on baby giraffe. Often they sometimes keep it on for quite long. It is still attached to their belly button. And so elephants would definitely also have some sort of indentation on their underside where that umbilical cord would have been attached to. Hi, Rachel. Yes, this elephant now has his non-tanning lotion on or sunscreen on. Um, Fortunately, elephants have such high melanin content; they don't get any tanner, and doesn't the sunshine doesn't affect them. But what it will do is just help keep that elephant cool for the day. Help let it not dry out, so let the skin get dry and warm so quickly.
I will be taking to the air with Nature Eye to explore Sibuya Game Reserve in the Eastern Cape, Antioch in the foothills of the northern Drakensberg, and Elephant Sands in northern Botswana. Join me on WildEarth's YouTube, Facebook or Twitter feeds and see how you too could fly a drone with Nature Eye in nature hotspots around the globe. Let's fly.
Well, apologies everyone for a little bit of the breakup in the feed there at Jamala, but we have hopped on over to Juma where it's still quite windy, but there are some beautiful blue skies and the fluffy white cloud around. Definitely signs that the bad weather has passed. And hopefully the wind is actually keeping everything a little bit cooler in temperature, although it is still warm. So who knows what we're going to see around here, but my fingers are definitely crossed to spot the mommy hippo and her baby. Oh my goodness. If anyone wasn't with us at the second half of yesterday's show, we had such a treat with finding that mommy hippo that we've been seeing here for the last, I suppose it's been a week or two, and she has given birth to her calf. We couldn't spot her at the moment. We're just having a look for some birds here now, but fingers crossed she will make an appearance and you'll all get to see that very cute baby. Oh, I can't spot anything as of yet. Sometimes we see, especially in that sort of left-hand side branch of this particular tree, sometimes birds are nesting in there. And often we have a herd of impala around. If we're lucky, maybe we'll see some elephants. But this wind definitely impacts animal behavior, everybody. It's something that is very clear when you've been out in the bush guiding, or even as a guest or on a self drive. The days that are not windy versus the days that are windy, you can see a clear difference in sort of the number of animals that are out and about. And it is because often with things like impala, zebra, giraffe, even elephants, the wind compromises their hearing a little bit, some of their senses and their sight, and they feel just slightly more vulnerable, so they tend to stick away or huddle together, not do too much moving around. Can hear tawny flank prenia, a hardy dar ibis as well calling. Starbuck. Ooh, interesting question. Thanks so much for sending it through. You want to know what other species benefit from the trees that elephants push down. Now, this is something that often is debated with elephants, how much they hurt or benefit the environment. And sometimes when we see them pushing over, let's say, a beautiful marula tree, for example, and we're like, the elephants are destroying these trees. They take so long to grow, etc., etc. Now, it's not that elephants push over every single tree, but if they are, the problem with that can come in when there are too many elephants for the size of reserve that they're being kept in. And that can then cause some conservation management issues. But with regards to the benefits of pushing over the tree, there are definitely benefits to it. It's part of keeping ecosystems in balance, and in fact creates an entire new ecosystem. Now, ecosystem is both living and non-living factors that interact with one another to form a sort of environment where life lives, different species live. And when an elephant pushes over a tree, yes, it may kill the tree, but the tree may continue growing. First of all, it allows the leaves from the top of that tree, which may have never been accessible to some of other species like small antelopes, even black rhinos, for example, to be able to access them. So they have more food available to them. And then you've got things like where that tree falls, you often get a lot more shade. Little crevices and cavities become open. You also can have the wood starting to rot, which means that termites can benefit from it. Different beetles, lots of sort of insects, arthropods benefiting from that. Then you've also got reptiles, love a fallen over tree. Snakes, lizards making that their home. Birds, although they can nest in trees that are not fallen over, there are possibly more cavities that form once the tree is fallen over, and therefore the birds can find homes in there as well. So there are a lot of benefits to the trees being pushed over, but again, if it's out of balance, if we have every single tree pushed over, then that causes a massive imbalance within the different ecosystems of the environment. So it's important that I suppose that elephants do what they do and push over some trees, but it is also important that they don't push over every single tree. Now, here are the culprits of that noise that we've been hearing. They are called hardy-dar ibises. You can actually see them calling here when the one opens its beak. There we go.
'Tis the season of love, and couples that win together stay together. Grab your partner and join us for an interactive quiz this Valentine's Day. To be a part of the romance, go to our website and register in teams of 2. Name your team after your favorite rom-com or the rom-com couple that represents your relationship. Fall in love with nature this Valentine's Day with WildEarth.
All right, well, the Hanidas have flown away, but let's head back to Jamala and see what's coming down to the waterhole. Oh, hooray, everyone. We wanted some baby Ellies. I think it was Sarah who said that. And here they are. You can see 2 separate herds here. 2 little family groups. Oh, there is actually 2 very small ones. in between. Oh, that mom and little one's moving off to the left now. But hooray! I don't know if we're going to see them have a pool party today. Might not be quite hot enough. But maybe mom will bring that little one a little bit closer. Oh, there we go. That's what I was hoping for. Little one coming with mom to the little drinking spot here. Oh, it is just so cute. That poor zebra has been trying to come down to the water the whole time. And unfortunately, it just picked the side where the elephant's on their path. And now that younger elephant gave a little bit of a chase away. Oh, it's checking on it. You can see the zebra's coming back, but oh, it's going to let him go. Oh, it looks like that little one is thinking about getting down into the water. It hasn't quite committed yet. Come on, just a little rollover. Oh, oh. What is it trying to do? Ah, this is what we were hoping to see, a little baby elephant having some fun in the water. So far, this little one's the only one that's really starting a pool party. I think it's hoping that maybe its cousins will join it. Oh, Sarah, this is just for you. You say that little Ellie is so adorable rolling around in the mud. Isn't it just? Living its best life, as it were.
We all know the struggle of finding the perfect gift. But what if you could give them an unforgettable experience? Something truly extraordinary. Introducing Nature Eye. Fly a real drone remotely at iconic locations, witnessing the beauty of nature like never before. Sign up to be an explorer and you could win one of these experiences yourself. Visit natureeye.com today.
Well, everyone, it is 5 minutes to go until it is 1 p.m. here in South Africa. So then we are going to be adding Africams to the show. So if you happen to be watching on YouTube, this is a reminder to hop on over to either the WildEarth app or the website. Otherwise, if you're in the UK, you can continue watching on Freeview. Otherwise, in South Africa, DSTV channel 183 after 1 p.m. Pete, hello. You are from the UK. You say you love the show. Well, I'm so glad to hear that. You have an interesting question about female elephants and when they go into estrus, if the temporal gland leaks more, and does it alter their temperament or body language? And I suppose in comparison to a male elephant that goes into mast, it does cause their temporal gland and their behavior to change. So, Pete, yes, I think to both of those parts of your question, hormonal shifts within a female, well, or an elephant in general, male or female, can cause that temporal gland to leak or to produce fluid. If they're stressed in any sort of way, for example, lack of resources in some way, or like I said, hormonal changes, if they're pregnant, coming into estrus, all of those sorts of things. It's not a strict rule. Elephants with a leaking temporal gland doesn't necessarily mean that the female is in estrus, but it definitely can be leaking because of that. With regards to body language or behavior, I don't think there's too much of a change in their temperament, unlike mast bulls that can get quite aggressive. Females, however, will be more tactile towards males. They may even raise their tails and sort of, in some ways, present towards a male. So those are sort of the little behavioral changes that have been documented around females in estrus who are ready to be mated with, and then a male around a dominant bull as well. All right, everyone. Well, the time has come, and let's get ready as we welcome Africam to the show.